Look around you, scroll through your feed for just 5 seconds, and you'll see exactly what society wants you to believe wealth looks like. It's the deafening roar of a rented supercar. It's the blinding flash of a designer watch. It's the impulsive, adrenaline-fueled lifestyle of someone who drops 10 grand on a spontaneous weekend getaway simply for the aesthetic. We are constantly, aggressively sold this intoxicating lie that building wealth is a fast-paced, high-octane movie montage. But let's hit the brakes and stop the music for a second. That flash, that excitement, that is not wealth. That is simply the spending of wealth. Or, more dangerously, the spending of debt masquerading as success. Here's the uncomfortable psychological truth that keeps the vast majority of people broke. Our brains are fundamentally wired to work against our financial success. We are fighting thousands of years of human evolution that screams at us to consume the resources we have right now because tomorrow is never guaranteed. We are biologically programmed to chase the next hit of dopamine. Every single time you swipe that card for a novel, shiny new purchase, your brain rewards you with a massive chemical rush. It feels good. It feels like status. It feels like progress. On the flip side, what happens when you make the responsible choice? What happens when you decide to take that same money and transfer it into an index fund that you won't touch for 20 years? Nothing. No fireworks, no rush. Absolutely zero social media validation. To our ancient dopamine-addicted brains, saving and investing doesn't just feel passive. It actually feels like a punishment. It feels like a painful deprivation of joy. So, if the game is inherently rigged by our own neurochemistry, how do the truly wealthy actually pull it off? How do the quiet millionaires next door build fortunes that last generations, while the rest of the world is drowning in car payments and agonizing over credit card interest? The answer is going to utterly disappoint the thrill seekers, but I promise you, it is going to liberate you. The people who actually build lasting, unshakable wealth didn't hit the lottery. They didn't rely on waking up every single day to make massive, painful sacrifices through sheer willpower. Willpower is a finite resource, and if you rely on it to get rich, you will eventually exhaust it and fail. Instead, they built their empires through the power of boredom. Real wealth is built in the quiet shadows. It's the direct product of unremarkable, mind-numbingly boring routines that run on complete autopilot. It is the exact opposite of the flashy lifestyle we've been sold. It's about architecting financial systems that bypass your dopamine cravings entirely, allowing your money to compound in the background while you drink your tea and go on living your life. If you can master the art of being bored by your finances, you can master your future. You can hijack your own psychology, flip the script on your dopamine loops, and let the math do the heavy lifting. Today, we are going to strip away the illusion. We are going straight into the unglamorous reality of the self-made. That we are breaking down the 10 boring habits that actually build wealth. No fluff, no get-rich-quick nonsense. Just the proven systems that will slowly, but inevitably, make you rich. Let's get into habit number 1. Welcome to the automation of apathy. To understand why this is so critical, you need to think of your willpower exactly like the battery on your smartphone. You wake up fully charged at 100%. But every single decision you make throughout the day, what to wear, what to eat, navigating traffic, dealing with your boss, drains a percentage point. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. By the time you sit down at 7 p.m. to look at your budget or decide whether to cook or order takeout, your willpower battery is blinking red at 1%. And when your willpower is depleted, your primal, dopamine-seeking brain violently kicks down the door and takes the wheel. This is exactly why most people fail to build wealth. Every time you leave the decision to save money up to your own willpower, you're fighting a losing battle against a drained battery. The secret of the wealthy isn't that they have superhuman discipline. It's that they refuse to use discipline at all. They remove the choice entirely. That brings us to habit number 1, the invisible transfer. If you see a large balance sitting in your checking account, your brain immediately starts doing mental gymnastics. It views that money as unassigned, and it will invent highly convincing reasons why you deserve to spend it right now. The fix is aggressively simple and completely robotic. Set up an automated routing system where a set percentage of your income is siphoned off directly into an investment or savings account the exact second you get paid. It never even touches your primary checking account. You cannot spend what you cannot see. By making the transfer invisible, you trigger a sense of apathy. You simply learn to live on the remainder by default, forcing your lifestyle to fit a smaller number without ever having to consciously make a sacrifice. But what happens when you're online? E-commerce platforms are billion-dollar psychological traps engineered by brilliant minds to do one thing: eliminate all friction between you and a dopamine spike. Buy with one click is the enemy of wealth. Enter habit number 2, the 48-hour cart purgatory. The neurochemical thrill of shopping isn't actually in owning the item. The rush comes from the anticipation of buying it. So, let yourself have that rush. Add the item to your cart. Feel the spike. But then, you violently break the loop. You close the tab. You implement a mandatory, non-negotiable 48-hour waiting period on all non-essential purchases. You put those items in purgatory. Over those 2 days, the emotional high crashes, and your rational brain reboots. 90% of the time, you will return to that cart 48 hours later. Look at those items and feel absolutely nothing. You just saved your future self hundreds of dollars by simply waiting out a chemical reaction in your brain. Finally, we tackle the physical world with habit number 3, the standardized grocery blueprint. The modern supermarket is a sensory minefield. The layouts, the lighting, the end cap displays, they are scientifically weaponized to trigger impulse buying. If you walk in there trying to decide what to eat for the week on the fly, you have already lost. You will buy junk, and you will overspend. The wealthy alternative? You eat the same core meals, and you buy the exact same staples every single week. You create a standardized blueprint. You don't browse the aisles. You execute a tactical mission. You eliminate impulse buying because there are simply no decisions left to make. It's monotonous. It's repetitive. It is spectacularly boring. And it is guaranteed to keep your money in your pocket where it belongs. Right now, there is an invisible war being waged against your bank account. And the weapon of choice isn't an advertisement. It's convenience. On Silicon Valley, tech giants and massive retailers spend billions of dollars every single year researching how to eliminate the friction between you and your money. Fingerprint payments, Face ID checkouts, one-click ordering. They are actively engineering a world where you can spend your hard-earned wealth without ever having a conscious thought. They want the transaction to happen so fast that your logical brain literally doesn't have the time to catch up with your emotional impulse. If their strategy is weaponized convenience, your defense mechanism must be engineered friction. You have to intentionally build speed bumps into your own life. You have to make spending money annoying again. This starts with habit number 4, unlinking the plastic. Tonight, you're going to go into your web browsers, your favorite shopping apps, and your food delivery services, and you are going to delete every single saved credit card. Yes, all of them. When you get an impulse to buy something, you are no longer allowed to just double-click the side of your phone. You have to physically stand up, walk to another room, dig your wallet out of your bag, pull out the card, and manually type in all 16 digits, the expiration date, and the security code. That 60 seconds of physical friction is a neurohack. It creates a window of time for your prefrontal cortex, the logical adult part of your brain, to wake up and ask, wait, do we actually need this, or are we just bored? Once you slow down the transaction, you have to change how you evaluate it with habit number 5, the cost per use mental math. Broke people look at the sticker price. Wealthy people look at the lifetime utility. A $40 pair of cheap shoes that falls apart in 6 months and destroys your back costs you significantly more than a $150 pair that lasts for 5 years. Stop asking yourself, how much does this cost right now? And start asking, how much does this cost per use? This completely shifts your psychology. It stops you from buying cheap junk that clutters your house and it gives you the psychological permission to invest in high-quality assets that actually add lasting value to your life. Finally, we have to neutralize your financial Achilles heel with habit number 6, the cash-only vice envelope. Everyone has a weakness. For some, it's a $7 iced coffee. For others, it's late-night takeout or online gaming microtransactions. Whatever your vice is, you're going to put it on a cash-only diet. At the start of the month, you withdraw a set, reasonable amount of physical cash and put it in a literal envelope. When you want that coffee, you pay with paper. Psychological studies show that handing over physical cash activates the same regions in the brain as physical pain. Swiping a card is painless. Watching a $20 bill leave your hand hurts. And here's the golden rule. When the envelope is empty, the habit stops for the month. No bargaining, no pulling from checking. You use the tactile pain of cash to physically cap your worst spending habit. We've fortified your digital life and your physical environment, but now we have to face the most dangerous threat to your wealth: other people. Humans are fundamentally tribal creatures. For thousands of years, our survival depended entirely on being accepted by the group. If you were cast out of the tribe, you didn't survive the winter. Fast forward to today, and that ancient, deep-seated biological fear of social rejection has been completely hijacked by modern consumerism. It is the psychological engine driving the phenomenon of keeping up with the Joneses. We are absolutely terrified of looking like we are falling behind our peers. So what happens? We split $150 dinner bills we cannot afford. We attend expensive destination weddings that silently push us into credit card debt. We buy the car, the jacket, and the rounds of drinks just to signal to the tribe that we still belong. You are literally draining your future freedom to manage other people's temporary perceptions of you. If you want to build lasting wealth, you must build a social shield. This begins with habit number 7, the pre-planned no script. When you're put on the spot with an expensive social invitation, the pressure spikes. If you have to invent an excuse in that exact moment, your tribal brain will panic and you will cave. You will say yes simply to avoid the micro-agony of awkwardness. The wealthy do not rely on in-the-moment courage. They rely on cold preparation. You need an automatic, polite, and completely non-negotiable script ready to deploy at a moment's notice. It sounds like this: I would absolutely love to see you, but that's not in my budget for this month. That's it. Full stop. No over-explaining. No apologizing for your financial boundaries. You strip the emotion out of the rejection and make it a simple, unbreakable matter of mathematics. But building wealth does not mean isolating yourself in a cave, which leads us to habit number 8, proposing the counteroffer. When you use your pre-planned no, you immediately follow it up with a high-connection, low-cost alternative. You step up and become the friend who suggests grabbing a $3 coffee and walking through the park instead of the $100 bottomless brunch. You host the casual potluck at your place instead of following the group to the overpriced downtown steakhouse. When you do this, you will discover a shocking psychological truth. Most of your friends are also stressed about money, and they will be secretly relieved that you took the pressure off. Finally, we have to recognize that peer pressure is no longer just physical, it is relentlessly digital. Enter habit number 9, auditing your influence diet. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and right now, you're spending hours every single day with professional lifestyle influencers. Their entire algorithmic business model is designed to make your perfectly fine life look incredibly inadequate, so you will buy the cure. You have to ruthlessly audit your feed. Unfollow the luxury pages, mute the accounts constantly posting from 5-star resorts. Stop consuming digital content that is engineered to trigger your urge to consume physical products. If you starve the feeling of inadequacy, you will watch your desire to overspend completely vanish. We have covered the automated systems, the engineered friction, and the social shields. But to make this permanent, we have to talk about the final, most profound psychological transformation: the shift from discipline to identity. When you first start implementing these boring habits, it is going to feel mechanical. It will require effort. But if you stick with it, something incredible happens inside your brain. The friction disappears. These actions stop being just something you do, and they become someone you are. You stop identifying as a frantic, dopamine-chasing consumer, and you start identifying as a builder, an investor, a wealthy person in training. This identity shift is your ultimate anchor. Once you truly see yourself as the CEO of your own financial life, blowing money on trivial, fleeting impulses actually starts to feel completely out of character. You no longer have to fight yourself. Your habits simply align with who you have become. To cement this new identity, you must implement habit number 10, the weekly money date. Once a week, for exactly 15 minutes, you sit down, remove all distractions, and look the beast directly in the eye. You open every single account, your checking, your credit cards, your debts, your investments. You track your exact net worth. You do not do this to obsess over the micro fluctuations of the stock market, and you never do it to punish yourself for a bad week. You do it for one reason: to stay fiercely anchored to reality. The vast majority of people avoid their bank statements out of deep-seated shame, guilt, or anxiety. They prefer to operate in a comforting but deeply dangerous fog of financial denial. By scheduling a non-negotiable weekly money date, you burn that fog away. Step into the light. You take total emotional authority over the numbers before the numbers have a chance to control you. Let's bring this completely full circle. We started by looking at the flashy, adrenaline-fueled illusion of wealth that society relentlessly sells you. The unvarnished truth is that building a fortress of absolute financial independence is not an exciting movie montage. It is a series of incredibly mundane, highly automated, and relentlessly boring decisions. But here's the beautiful paradox of the truly wealthy. Being absolutely, mercilessly boring with your daily money is the exact mechanism that buys you the freedom to be wildly exciting with your life later. Mastering the mundane buys you the ultimate unattainable luxury for most people: your own time, unshakable peace of mind, and the absolute power to walk away from any job, any situation, or any stress that no longer serves you. Building wealth is about taking small, consistent actions every single day. You've watched this far because, deep down, you have a few financial habits that desperately need fixing. It's so easy to just nod along, click away, and change absolutely nothing about your life. But if you actually want to prove to yourself that you are finally committed to breaking those old, destructive cycles, start with the easiest, free habit right now. Subscribe and share this video. It costs you absolutely nothing, but it actively signals to your brain that you are taking this transformation seriously. Take control of your money or it will control you.